Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Salamangreat deck profile for the July 2021 format. I actually haven't played this deck in a very long time, but I did enjoy it quite a lot when the structure deck did come out. I picked up 3 of the structure deck. I played around with it for a little bit. I thought it was a pretty fun deck. I never took it to like an event or anything like that. I'm not that good with this deck, but I thought that it was really cool, and I thought I'd show you my deck profile since Miragestallio is back at 3. Or not at 3, but back off the ban list. We have Gazelle, the lone copy of Gazelle. This card was busted at 3, but unfortunately we have it at 1, so we just got to deal with it for now. We're playing 3 copies of Spinny because we're going back to the 3-access version of Salamangreat, so we're also playing the 2 copies of Foxy, and we're actually playing Sea Archiver, so this was played a lot back then as well, and I decided to fit it right back into my list as well, just because discarding this off Sign It Mining is pretty good, or discarding any Salamangreat card, or any of these is like pretty good off of Sign It Mining, so I would highly recommend it. Then for other like 1-card starters, I guess 1 card, 1.5 card, depending on what you think, I guess, for each of the cards. 1 copy of, or 3 copies of Lady Debug. This is definitely a 1-card starter. It gets your engine going, but it doesn't really end on the best board ever, but it is a board, so we'll go over that at the end of the video. Then we have 2 copies of Flame Buffalo. This is really good to cycle through some Salamangreat cards, but you don't really want to play too many normal summons, so I decided to play these for now, and then I guess if you draw a Salamangreat, you can normal summon it, but you don't have to, just depending on the scenario in your hand. But those are plenty, I think, honestly. 2 copies of Jack Jaguar. You don't want to bench this off Desires, and then 1 copy of Falco. Falco's just so good to, set another Salamangreat spell and trap late in the game, like with Gazelle. To send that from the deck to grave is really nice. 3 copies of Paralelic Seed. Probably the best extender to ever exist ever. Being a Cyberse monster is just so good for the deck, and also being able to get into any rank 4 is insane. If you have like any normal summon Cyberse monster, you can basically draw 2 cards and set up your hand, so it's like pretty insane. Then we have a Prohibit Snake. This is just a 1-of because Invoke Shaddoll Dogmatica can set up Winda, so you can search this guy and kind of deal with it that way. Then we have 3 copies of Ash. This card is busted in this deck because Sunlight Wolf can add it back. It's insane. So good. For consistency spells, we're playing 3 copies of Circle, 3 copies of Sign It Mining. I guess the Desires count in this, but we'll go over it in a second. But these specifically search for your Salamangreat cards or your starters. They are insane. Great cards. 2 copies of Will of the Salamangreat. I guess I should mention this, actually. I want to mention this. Activate Circle in your draw phase because Droll can't be activated in draw phase. But yeah, that was kind of a side tangent, but 2 copies of Will and 1 copy of Sanctuary. These cards are just great. You only need 1 of Sanctuary. Don't play more. It's unnecessary. You don't want to ever draw it in your opening hand. Then 3 copies of Desires and 3 copies of Twin. I know these are on different sleeves, but they're in different decks. Technically, they're still red, but I was playing in a different deck and I just couldn't be bothered to switch it. Then for traps, we're playing 2 copies of Rage, 2 copies of Roar. You don't want to banish them with Desires, but you do want to have a good amount in your deck. So that's why I'm not playing 3, but I'm not playing 1. So I decided the 2-2 ratio. Plus, if you draw them, it's like fine. For the extra deck, we are playing 3 copies of Phalanx, 3 copies of Sunlight Wolf, and the 1 copy of Miragestallio. This is for the Salamangreat package. I don't think there's anything to say about this. These are amazing cards. Then Splash Mage is an extra extender. Update Damage, Transco Tucker is an extra extender as well. Fireball Dragon can also fall in that category. It's pretty cool. He got the errata, so he's back in the game, 1 copy of Access Code Talker, and that runs off the Link monsters. I think you absolutely have to play Access Code Talker in this deck. So wait for the new Brothers of Legend or Tins. We don't know which set it's probably coming in, but likely one of those 2. You can, I guess, play it without it because like Transco Talker can OTK sometimes, but basically just makes this deck more grindy. So you kind of just want to end the game, turn 3. For rank 4s, we're playing Dweller, Dugaras, and Baguska. So Dweller's just great against like literally everything this format, like Tri-Brigade and Drytron, and sometimes Shaddoll Dogmatica, actually pretty good against that deck. Dugaras is basically just either an OTK or an extra consistency piece in the extra deck because of Parallel Exceed, because you can draw 2, discard 1. And a lot of the Salamangreat cards love being in the graveyard, so that discard we actually do not mind. And Baguska is just there for stalling if you can't do either of those. If you can't combo, you make Baguska and you pass. So we can go over a 1-card combo here with the Lady Debug. So I do want to just go over this really quick. I mean, obviously your hands, you play with a 5-card hand, but I mean, I'm just going to show you the 1-card Debug. So you normal summon Debug, and you're going to use the effect to pick up a Gazelle from your deck, and then you're going to link off your Debug into your copy of Balings, and then you're going to use Balings effect to go ahead and search for the field spell. So you should have Gazelle and Sanctuary in hand. You activate Sanctuary, and now you want to trigger Gazelle's effect, so you link off the Balings for another copy of Balings, and then you can trigger your Gazelle from your hand, summon it, and then you're going to trigger its second effect to send a Salamangreat from your deck to the grave. You can send Spinny. Typically you want to send like a trap card if you have access to another level 3 monster, but in this case we don't, so we're going to send Spinny. Then we're going to use our Spinny's effect to summon it back from the grave, and then we're going to overlay it with Gazelle into our copy of Miragestallio, and you can put it over wherever you want because Master Rule 5. Then we're going to use our Miragestallio, detach the Gazelle specifically, and then we're going to special summon a Salamangreat monster from the deck, and you're locked into activating only fire monsters effects for the rest of the turn, so make sure you don't do this turn 3 and then climb into Access Code Talker, because that is an illegal play. Next we're going to link off our Jaguar and our Balings into our copy of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. Then we're going to use our Jaguar's effect to shuffle back our Balings and summon back the Jaguar. And then we are going to use these two, or not yet, sorry. We're going to activate our effect of Sunlight Wolf to add back our Gazelle back to hand. Now you have two options here. If you want to reincarnate summon your Sunlight Wolf, you definitely can just by using these two, and then you summon one. If you have like a circle that you searched to get to the Gazelle, or to get to any other Salamangreat piece, or anything like that, you definitely don't have to do this play, but you can do it just to have this reincarnated Sunlight Wolf, or you can just leave the bodies on the field and then just see what your opponent does. That's also like a pretty decent option, so I would, it just depends on what you think and how the rest of your hand, shapes up, but it definitely just depends on what you have in your graveyard or what you have in your hand. So yep, that does it for the first combo. I'll go over another combo really quick. So this next combo just involves having Gazelle and Spinny. So this is a pretty basic combo as well. So if you open these, or you use Signet Mining to search this or something like that, you can definitely do this combo. And you can still combo even harder depending on what you discard with Signet Mining, but we'll see here. So we're going to normal summon our Spinny, and we're going to link it off for our Balings. That is not Balings. Then we're going to use the Balings effect to grab the Sanctuary. And you're going to chain block here, sorry. So you're going to chain block. So chain 1 Balings, chain link 2 Gazelle, summon Gazelle, search Sanctuary, and then Gazelle's effect is going to send a Salamangreat trap from your deck to the grave. I recommend sending Rage, but you could send Roar, it really doesn't matter. Then we're going to go ahead and activate our Spinning effect in grave. We're going to summon it back to the field, and we're going to use it in Gazelle into our Miragestallio. Then we're going to use Stallio's effect, detaching the Gazelle again, specifically here. And then we are going to special summon our Jaguar from deck. And we're going to use our Jaguar and our Balings into our copy of Sunlight Wolf. Then we're going to activate our Sanctuary. Then we're going to use Sanctuary's effect. And that is going to go ahead and add, or we're going to link off, our Sunlight Wolf into another copy of Sunlight Wolf. And then we're going to use our Jaguar, and we're going to send back the Sunlight Wolf, and we're going to summon it back to the field. Then we're going to use Sunlight Wolf to grab back our Gazelle. We're also going to use the other effect of Sunlight Wolf. Since it was reincarnated, we can add back the Rage back to our hand. And then from here, if you have Roar instead of Rage, you can link off the Jaguar for a Balings, so your Rage is always live. If they happen to like kaiju this or kill it with something else, you can set your card face down and you have a follow-up for next turn with Gazelle. Same thing with the last combo as well, so it's pretty good. So I would highly recommend giving this deck at least a try, or at least learning the combos in general, so you kind of know what this deck can do. I think I would highly recommend, just at least learning the combos so you know what to expect from this deck, even if you're not going to play the deck. But I think it's a pretty cool deck. It has a lot of consistency, and it has a lot of longevity. It can just keep grinding forever, and it can OTK you out of Normer. So I think that this deck actually has a pretty decent chance this format. I definitely don't think it's going to be like tier 1 or anything like that, but you can definitely pull something crazy off with it. So with all of that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.